Welcome to my channel. My name is Crystal Bright and I'm the owner of 3D Bright Designs, a virtual interior design firm. I like to share my journey about being a self-taught interior designer and teach new things, like making this Pinterest photo into a real design using 2020. First thing I did was look through Pinterest to find a good kitchen view to replicate. And you'll see me in real time in the corner there, and that's just the webcam on me while I do this design. Now scrolling through, we actually came across the perfect kitchen that I've seen a few times before. I'm sure some of you have seen this kitchen before on Pinterest or on the internet. And we're gonna go ahead and get started. So the first thing I did was map out some walls. And I'm going to put the kit file for anybody who uses 2020. I'm going to put a link for the kit file in the YouTube notes, so you'll be able to download it and actually see the design from your point of view. So I'm laying some windows on the opposite side of the kitchen to make sure that we get some light in the room when we do the rendering. When I render, I really like to use natural light, so bringing in those windows are super important to me. And now what I'm doing is spacing out how far out the island would be from the walls and how far from the appliances. So I've guessed that we're going to have about a 7-foot island, and that's from looking at the picture and seeing what's in that picture. And from there, I am laying the window that's going to be in the design. It's that black framed window, and you see there's some space above, so it's a pretty short window sitting right there on the wall that the sink will be. And I started with the corner piece, and I'm laying the cabinets out one by one based off of what I see from that point of view. Now for the rest of the design, I do have to be a little creative, so I imagined that there was a tall oven over there in that corner and a refrigerator in that little cove. So that part I made up just because if it's going to be a full kitchen, we definitely need a refrigerator and an oven. Configuring these drawers in the island was really tricky, but basically all you have to do is get rid of the toe kick and make the cabinets shorter and make sure that the drawers are even. And for the range top, I made sure to use sort of like a sink base and that had drawers below and kind of reconfigure it that way. Now this is just for looks. If you're building a kitchen to be built, you might have to take some extra time to explain that that's what you've done with the cabinet, so that if it is going to be a custom cabinet, somebody understands what's going on there. Now moving through the design, I decided to put some black cabinets. Now these are full overlay black cabinets, even though you see the rest of the cabinets are actually inset doors. So they sit inside of the cabinet itself. But on the black cabinets against the wall, these are overlay and they're black, and they actually are covered on each side with white panels so that it really looks like a built-in look, like the picture on Pinterest. I've added a stacked crown, so I have a solid stock about 1.5 inch on the molding on top of the cabinet, and then I have a crown molding on top of that. And so now I'm just laying out the countertops, putting the sink in there, making sure I have realistic appliances in the design. So that's what I'm installing, and I use KitchenAid and GE Monogram appliances for this. I really like to use the appliances that are in 2020 because they're so realistic. You can see every single button on each appliance, and I really love that layer of detail, that thing that clients actually see and they're like, oh wow, this is really cool. So I am moving the countertop around that range top to make sure that everything looks very beautiful and seamless. And a really fun fact, a cooktop and a range top are two different things. So a range top is the one that you would see the knobs in the front of the island or in the front of the cooktop. That's a range top. Okay, so I'm moving some things around so that the countertop will lay over the windowsill, so it'll look the same way it does in that picture. And I've got the sink in there, and I'm almost ready to render it. All I have to do is close in that wall and bring it into Lumion. So here we are in Lumion, and this is where I take care of all the textures, making sure that they interact realistically, so they have a nice gloss, enough shine. The materials are high resolution images, so it really looks realistic when the renderings come out. And so what I'm doing right now is getting together the picture, the point of view, and then I'm gonna lay some effects on that picture that I just took. So I'm gonna tell how the picture will interact with the sunlight and the materials and the reflection. There's a lot of really intense details to it, but I can definitely go through it in more detail in another video. But after all of that work and a little bit more that I didn't show, the design came out so beautifully at the end, and Google can't even tell the difference. And I love how it came out. It was almost perfect, and I only did this in 2 hours. If you want me to go over it in more detail, please leave a comment, and if you want to see more, subscribe, and I appreciate your support. Thanks.